Applying for a job in 2026 is a humiliation ritual. On average, a single job posting in the US gets about 45 applicants. Only 45? I think they're keeping the numbers nice and low. But let's just say it's actually 45. Can you imagine? For a single opening, for a position, there are dozens of other people trying to compete for the exact same role. And if some of us are 20 years old competing with people who have far more experience, 30, 40-year-olds, we're absolutely cooked as a generation. Now, to give you guys some extra context, back in my previous life where I was working in the sales and telecom industry, I used to be on the hiring team. So what that means is I would go through so many applicants. It's unbelievable. And for one single job posting, we would get about 500 applicants per week. That's just under 100 applicants every single day. And the position would be something like marketing assistant, account manager, customer service. All of these job postings would get insane amounts of applications and resumes sent out. And I didn't actually look through all the resumes myself. We actually had an admin who did all the pre-screening. So then she would only call and invite for an interview those people that were actually more fit for the role. And here's the interesting thing. Being on the other end of the desk, conducting people's interviews, all kinds of people would walk through that door. I had 18-year-olds fresh out of high school who are looking for a job. Hey, I saw a customer service opening. I want to work here. And then you have a 45-year-old veteran, a corporate veteran, meaning they just put in 20 years at a company, they went all the way up, they were some kind of manager, and they're like, yeah, I just want to do this one customer service position. I want to start fresh in a new company because I'm tired of that shit. And I'm just like, how are you going to compete with this? And sometimes, because there were so many applicants and we wanted to give so many people a try, that we would schedule pre-screening interviews like a Zoom call. And sometimes it would even be in a group setting with 2 or 3 people. And I know group setting interviews are super weird, but it's just because of the volume we had. We just don't have enough time to sit down and really screen every single person thoroughly. And imagine on the call, you have 3 people. One person's a fresh immigrant, they're new in the country, and they half speak the language. Another person is a university graduate who just got their degree or diploma, and their ego is through the roof. Because as we know, people who graduate university, they just think they're going to jump in the job market right away. Or at least I get it. That's what was promised to you guys. And then you have some absolute corporate overlords. They know everything. They know the game. And interviewing 3 people like that at the same time who have completely different skills, different levels of expertise, and imagine they know on their end that only one of them's getting picked. And what they didn't know is that I had, and another coworker of mine, we had about 40 more interviews like that on that day. And only a small amount of people would actually get the positions, or if there were multiple openings, they would go under different roles. It's unbelievable. And the funny thing is, as a side note, I actually preferred hiring the younger people because they would be so much easier to work with. The people who are 45 years old, 20 years of experience, they are unbearable, insufferable. They just think they know everything. It's impossible to teach them anything new or how we do things here. And so working with younger people was way better. And I'm glad I was able to help out a couple people get jobs, sure. Well, maybe it's more than a couple. But looking on the other hand, now that I'm not doing that and I'm out here in the world where I could be looking for a job, but I also know a lot of people that worked with me, even that I've hired to work with me back in the day, and some of them were still not able to get jobs. And now the thing is, they're not inexperienced either. Some of these people were some of the best people I've ever worked with. They're extremely skillful. They know what they're talking about. I was thinking these people, if they leave their position today, are going to find a job tomorrow with 10 different applications, like 10 different employers reaching out to them. But that wasn't the case. Some of those people don't have a job to this day. And it's honestly embarrassing as a nation to not be able to give jobs to those people, but it's also humiliating for the people themselves. It's like, I can literally do all of the above, and I'm young and I'm ready to learn and I have the student mindset, and just give me work and there will be nothing. And at the same time, you have immigrants coming into the country who were doctors, engineers, whatever high paying professions, and they apply to those roles. Now, from a business standpoint, if someone applies for a job and they're insanely qualified, it's just so much easier to give them that job than train a new person, right? That doesn't mean it solves the problem for young people, including myself. And in another instance, I was at the graduation ceremony of my girlfriend who completed a diploma or degree in early childhood education, so ECE. I didn't really know much about it, but the point was I saw the class she walked up with, and there were probably 100 people or more just in that program alone who graduated all at the same time. And I'm just looking at it like, maybe a handful of those people are actually going to get jobs. What are the rest of them going to do? Because at that point, I was actually hiring and being on the HR team, so I knew how tough the job market was. And just thinking, this exact ceremony of graduation happens usually twice a year with classes of hundreds from different programs, different degrees, different diplomas. And knowing that handfuls from each program are going to get a position, where's everybody else going to go? McDonald's? I mean, even McDonald's, you're not going to get a position that easily. Nobody's hiring anymore. Many Canadian job seekers end up submitting 30 to over 200 applications before even getting considered or invited for an interview. Now that's actually an insane number, because just because you're going for the interview doesn't mean you're actually gonna get the job, because there's probably another 200 people interviewing for that exact position. So I don't know, guys, getting a job these days, it's almost like, aren't there better ways to make money? And the funny thing is, maybe there would be a group of people, a handful of us, who would open up businesses in person, so that would create more job opportunities. Like, you'll open up a coffee shop and then you're gonna hire 10 employees. So that's 10 positions, great. Nobody wants to do that anymore. If you're living in the same world as me, then you'll know that having a physical business is such a waste right now. And this is coming from somebody who had a physical office location. Actually, it's still there to this day. The lease has just been transferred to somebody else's name. But because you have to pay for so many expenses that eat up into all of the revenue, you're just left with nothing. It's starting to be very stupid to run a business, to run a physical business these days. It's just, the numbers don't make sense anymore. The numbers aren't numbering. Math ain't mathing. If you take into consideration paying taxes, rent, property taxes, all kinds of taxes, and then having to pay your employees on top of that. Now, there's nothing wrong with paying employees, especially if you want to pay them well. But what is screwed up is the fact that inflation is so high. Because of that, people need to earn more money. Therefore, you got to pay them more. And now they're in a higher tax bracket, so you're now paying more taxes on top of their taxes. And you basically are left with nothing. Like, literally nothing. So it's no wonder that not only are jobs declining, people aren't opening new businesses. Why would anyone in the right mind these days open a new business? So what are 20-year-olds doing? We're going online. We're trying to make an income online, because in person, it just doesn't make sense anymore. If your country is screwing you over, or screwing over its people due to the lack of job opportunities and the insane taxation rates that nobody even wants to open a business, well, it's no wonder. That's exactly why people are turning to other methods. Anyway, I've been ranting long enough about this. If you guys like the video, thumbs up, subscribe. If you don't, then don't. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.